Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Somos Mas, the official podcast of Somos Mas NM, and your source for the latest news and notes on New Mexico United and the New Mexico Runners. Joining me tonight, we have a full house. We have Jacob, we have Earl. Guys, we've got a lot of United news to get to this week. It's been a while since we've had this much news. But before we do get into that, we are, of course, going to talk about the win over the weekend over Charleston Battery by a final score of 2-0. We're going to preview the Phoenix Rising match this weekend. And then, and so we've got a lot of news and notes to get through this week. But before we do that, I do want to remind everyone that we are still in the middle of Mental Health Awareness Month. And I do want to ask you guys before we get to our burning question, with the discussion we had a couple weeks ago on mental health awareness and the feeler we put out to everyone saying, hey, if you need something, reach out to us. We'll do what we can to help you. What have you guys been doing for yourselves in terms of working on your own mental health and just kind of like trying to put yourself in a better headspace?
Do you want my real answer or do you want my fake answer?
Whatever, man.
All right, I'm going to go with my fake answer first, and that's a lot of cocaine.
Okay.
My real answer is everything that I've been doing before, just playing a lot of video games and working on cars.
Working on cars, all right.
That'll test your mental strengths right there.
That does negative things to my mental health for sure.
It just tests my mental patience, and if I can fix that, I know I can fix any of my other problems.
Jacob, what about you? What have you kind of done this month to help yourself?
I went to the beach for 5 days.
That'll help your mental health for sure.
And then I'm not working right now, so I have a lot of time. I don't know if that's helping or hurting though. I think I'm a nightmare when I'm not working because I just get antsy. Like this morning I was like freaking out. Mm-hmm. So we're waiting to start this new job, and we're waiting to get 100% clearance that we're going to get a house as part of this job. And so in order to do that, or before we can move in, we're going to paint the house, clean the house, and then we have to move stuff in. Well, all of that stuff still needs to be done, but I don't have clearance to go do it. So I literally have nothing to do outside of the house, and I don't operate well that way. So hopefully the job will come soon, and then that'll help my mental health.
Yeah, we are the new Car Talk, Harry. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully we can fill those guys' shoes to some extent. I can tell you how to change the oil on your car, and that's about it. Change a tire,
I got you, Harry. I got you, Harry. Any mechanical question, I got you.
Earl is always working on a car. I can vouch for that.
Yeah. But I mean, that's, Jacob, you've got some significant changes coming up, new job, potentially new home, and you've got, you just came back from vacation, I mean, all those things, like you said, being at the beach for a few days, kind of getting away from stuff and just kind of enjoying it. So I saw, like I mentioned before we got on, I saw some of your pictures over on Facebook and it looked like you guys were having a pretty good time out with the kids. And
we did.
And so that's definitely a good thing mentally,
I did see your pictures too on Facebook and I almost commented. But I didn't want to ruin decent family photos. Forehead talk.
I did have a conversation with a San Diego Loyal fan, which was cool. We were at the zoo. I was rocking the Meow Wolf kit. He said, "Hey, a New Mexico jersey." And then he said, "You guys don't like us to take 3 points from you, huh?" And I was like, "Well, no, of course not. I wanted 3 points. I didn't want you to have it." And then we talked and we were like, "Yeah, your fans are great." I was like, "Yeah, your guys' fans seem great too." Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, "Yeah, I wish more fans were like that." And I was like, "Yeah, I know, like Phoenix. I wish Phoenix was like that." And he stops me and he goes, in my head, it sounded like we don't talk about Bruno because that's been playing in this house for 3 months now. But he said, "We don't talk about Phoenix." And I said, "No, we don't. Good job."
Yeah.
And then he drove away on his little cart.
I don't know what the funniest part of that is, the fact that he stopped you from talking about Phoenix or the fact that he drove away on a little cart.
It's both.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Harry over in the chat. Sorry to hear about the loss of Superfan Stone from the United Nations. Yeah, we were. That's definitely something we're going to touch on this evening. Ahead of the match last week, Stone passed away. I don't know details as far as what happened. I think you guys might have been a little bit closer with him than I was, but it was a big deal around the community. He was someone that was always, front and center at the matches, early to all the releases, and he was honored ahead of the Charleston Battery match. And so shout out to Charleston Battery, their front office, their staff there for putting something up on the video board and having a moment of silence for him. Really, really classy thing for Charleston Battery to do. And so there's actually an article over on USLchampionship.com about it, and they took some screen grabs of tweets, and there's a number of different folks in there. Mine actually got screen grabbed and put in that article. But did you guys know him a little bit better? What were your interactions with him? I only met him once. So
I actually was never introduced to him. I knew who he was. Obviously, I had interacted with him on Facebook, because you interact with everybody on Facebook, especially in those first couple of years. But no, I never had the pleasure of actually meeting him and getting to know him. But all the people that I do know that knew him, and I respect their opinion greatly, said he was a fantastic guy, and it is no doubt a huge loss for the New Mexico United community, even if it wasn't for us necessarily, having not known him that well. I know, for instance, Rachel, who was a part of Somos Unidos News, and her daughter Daylin. They knew him very well. It tore them up pretty good, and so that's all I need to know to be sad is if people in my family are upset by the loss, then I'm upset by the loss.
Earl, did you happen to know him, or
no? Not at all. He was my friend on Facebook, but then again, everybody's my friend on Facebook, and that was just about it. I mean, I didn't know the guy. I've never met him. I can honestly say I've never personally interacted with him. And Harry, if there's a way to take that comment out of the chat, we don't want Seth getting fined an undisclosed amount of money, because he's not a super fan. He's a professional.
Yeah, he's not a fan at all.
No,
he's a soulless robot.
Obviously.
When it comes to soccer, anyways.
Yeah. But yeah, it was it went around the nation last week, and obviously the USL head office picked up on it. They put out some nice things about it, and definitely a loss for the community. And our thoughts and prayers are obviously with his family, and that they're able to get the support that they need during this time. It's never easy, losing a loved one. So definitely our thoughts and prayers are with them. It was great to see the support from Charleston Battery and from around the league. I know even Eighth Notch reached out and gave their condolences. And so there are some things that just transcend football and the rivalries on the pitch, and this is one of those. I know that I think I can say for the three of us that if something were to happen, and someone that was as well known in their community as Stone was in ours, that our condolences would be with them as well. So it'll be obviously he'll be lost not seeing him at the games, but it's unfortunate, but the world does have to move on, and so we just wanted to touch on that and give him a few minutes of our time, and that's the least that we can do. So we'll moving along, it's really hard to kind of segue out of that. Jacob, you told us before you came in the chat ahead of the show, and you said that you had a burning question that you wanted us to answer. And you actually stole the burning question for tonight's show. So why don't you go ahead and deliver it so we can get our reactions.
Do you have the tweet handy by chance or no?
No,
Okay.
I went to go pull it up.
Then basically I saw a tweet that said, after watching USL playoffs and MLS playoffs where it's one and done, They officially thought that the NBA specifically, he might have mentioned the NHL, but I think the NBA for sure had too many games in the postseason. I, for one, disagree. But what are your thoughts on that, Seth?
Yeah, for me, it really made me think about the amount of time that I've spent watching soccer, and especially over the past 10 years or so, and how I watch other sports and how I follow it. Not just for the playoffs, but the regular season as well. Like, I watch far less baseball than I used to. I watch far less NFL than I used to. I follow the NBA, never really watched a whole lot of it because most of the games are on TNT or wherever. But I definitely think that the playoff structure, the season structure that you see in soccer, no matter what league it is, I feel like it does kind of point out a lot of the flaws with some of the other major leagues and how they handle their seasons and their postseasons. I wouldn't say you need to do like a one and done, but I think you could change these best of series to like best of 5, best of 3, something, because they're just, the seasons already drag on.
Stop talking right now.
Yeah, stop right now. Stop. I can honestly say right now, as a sports fan, there's no greater feeling than, and even if it's not your team. I mean, I was watching the Tampa Bay Lightning and Vancouver freaking Maple Leafs.
Game 7.
Who
Toronto
none of them
Maple
are my
Leafs?
team. Yeah, no, it's not Toronto.
Yes, it is.
Is it Toronto?
Are you talking about? Are you talking about the game tonight, or are you talking about Game 7 a few nights ago? Yeah, it was the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Okay. Obviously, I don't follow any of those two teams. I will be the first to admit that I'm a Nashville Predators fan. Go Preds, even though they got spanked in 4 games. So that's whatever. But there was no greater feeling in the world, or no excitement, than knowing there's gonna be a Game 7.
But
Harry, get out of the chat.
Would you not still have that same feeling if Game 5 was the deciding factor? Like, does it have to be Game 7?
Yes.
Yes.
Game 7.
Why?
Because you have 6 games leading up to that. Like, okay, so maybe this is because you're not a basketball or hockey follower necessarily. In those two sports,
still best of 7.
I know, but those two sports are different nowadays, anyways, because there's a sense of feeling a team out, getting to know them, getting under their skin, to where in a Game 7, specifically a Game 7, after 6 games of, I'll talk basketball because that's the sport that I follow the most, even though I do really enjoy hockey.
I have one good basketball Game 7 moment, and Harry, man, is this one gonna piss you off?
Anyways, Harry's not a Spurs fan, by the way. But anyways, in basketball, you get all these storylines through the first 6 games that lead to a Game 7 that is not just a one-off like in USL or MLS. It's not after 5 games or 3 games, where you can get some storylines built up in those games, but in a 7-game series, Game 7 in any sport is just, there's nothing better. There just isn't. So you can get some of that in a Game 5, some of it in a Game 3. The problem with these sports isn't the playoff structure for me. I'm with you on the regular season, and that they are just ridiculously no.
There you go.
No, David Carl.
Yes, there's no difference because no matter what, you're emotionally invested as a fan of your team. It doesn't matter if it's a decisive game 5 or decisive game 7. You're still emotionally invested. I don't care about the petty nonsense between the players and feeling each other out.
No, it's not petty.
It's not petty. Care about that. I care about winning the series.
It's not petty because it's not just about the little getting under people's skin and stuff. It's about tactics. It's about strategies. It's about stuff like that. And so you, Seth, cannot talk if you don't watch basketball or hockey and have never been invested in a series. And not to mention, Earl just said he watched a game 7 from 2 teams that he does not care about. If you watch a whole series from beginning to end, even if you do not care about either of the 2 teams, by game 7, you will live and die on every play.
Yeah, I'm still there in game 5. If you're a fan,
yes.
If I'm that invested in any series, whether I'm a fan or not, if I'm that invested, I'm good with the game 5 being a decider. I'm good with not needing a game 7.
That's not the problem.
Jacob, can you mute him?
I can actually. In fact,
and me and you will just talk about
in fact, I could just do that.
Jesus Christ.
So is there a difference between one game playoff and a 5 or 7? So there's a huge difference in a 1 game playoff. Like, you don't want to decide the world champion, the World Series, the NBA championship, the Stanley Cup. You don't want to decide any of that by 1 game. Like, that in itself is not going to work. Like, honestly, I would love to see USL and even MLS go to like a home and home, go to a 2-legged final. I would love to see that. But I just think that you can take the playoffs, you can make them best of 5 series. You don't need the best of 7.
What does that accomplish though?
It's still
half of the series don't go to game 7 anyways. And so what does it matter if, yes, for soccer, that is the right answer.
The only argument in favor of the best of 7, it's more likely to have the better team win, less likely to have flukes. I watch basketball and hockey and level of interest wise, it makes no difference. Absolutely. Like, I see no need for a game 7. Like, honestly, shorten the NBA season. That way you don't run into all the nonsense that you have with, players sitting because it's a lesser opponent. You don't have players worrying about, back-to-back games and all this kind of nonsense. Put a best of 5 series in there for the playoffs, and you're good. You're going to see more competitive action throughout the regular season. You're going to see a better 5-game series, from 2 teams. Like, the dominant team is going to, is going to take care of it in 5. You're going to see that happen.
No, that's not true, because my example of the best game 7 I've ever watched was the San Antonio Spurs and Miami Heat. Many people know, maybe people don't know, that I'm a Miami Heat fan. I do believe David Carl's also a Miami Heat fan.
I know Tyler is.
No one cares about LeBron.
Okay. So anyways, now that this is not even a LeBron highlight. That's the thing. Because you have the LeBrons, you have all the big names. But this one memory.
Did I miss something? Was there something on the screen? Did I just completely miss it? What just happened?
It was just Earl muted, that's it. And then unmuted.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so David is a Heat fan. So David, you probably remember this memory where Game 7, the Heat were down by 2 in like the dying seconds of the game. The ball was passed out to Ray Allen.
I hate to break it to you, but that wasn't Game 7.
Yes, that was.
No, it was not.
Check out my Wikipedia. Let me see.
I'm sorry, but it wasn't.
I am willing to die that it was a Game 7.
Tell me right now it was not.
Yeah. Earl's looking that up. There you go. Harry says Game 6.
Thank you, Harry.
So I've slept and drank and been divorced since then. So give me a break.
Well, are you breaking news on the pod? What are you talking about?
No, I'm still married to my wife. Happily married to my wife. For the past something years. God, I hope she's not listening to this.
Real quick. It doesn't matter if it was game 7 or 6 or whatever. David said yes, but that could have happened in game 5. It could have. It very well could have. I don't want it to, though. Yeah, he's not our fact checker by any means. No,
which is a good thing.
But see, and that's the thing. Like, you can still have the drama, you can still have the excitement, you can have those deciding game moments in a game. I guarantee you that if the NBA and NHL and even MLB, if they went to 5-game series,
they had 5-game series. When I watched them, they had them.
Yes,
and they were not as good.
If they went to a 5-game series, I guarantee you within 2 to 3 years, people aren't even going to be talking about it anymore. Like, yeah, you're still going to have people.
Well, that's
like
what
us
happens with everything.
Who remember great
wrong.
Game 7s, who have great Game 7 stories. Like, I remember the Braves beating the Pirates in the 91 NLCS in Game 7 where Sid slid. I remember that. I will never forget that.
You're old.
But if you look at it, you can still have those moments. You can have those deciding moments, those dramatic moments in Game 5s. You can.
I have seen Game 5s.
As David and Harry have said.
Them.
It's about the money.
It is on their side, yes. But on my side, I don't care about the money. The money doesn't do anything for me. And I still would rather a Game 7 than a Game 5. I have watched Game 5s. I've watched Game 5s in 5-game series. I have in baseball and in basketball. And they're not the same. I'm telling you right now. They're just not.
If that was the norm, it would be. You're going to have the same amount. You're going to have the same attention, the same excitement as you would in a Game 7. You normalize the Game 5.
This
might
be the dumbest conversation we've ever had because there's no way to prove. There's no way to prove if it. No, okay, let me rephrase that. The dumbest serious conversation.
This.
I don't know what this means because I'm not a Braves fan and I don't really care.
We were beating the Twins through 5 in 91.
That's what this is about.
Here's my take on that comment.
Okay.
I wasn't even born then.
No.
So I don't want to hear it.
That's what this. You're just bitter.
Oh, I
just want the shorter series.
I hate Kent Herbeck. I hate the umpires in that
I don't
series.
even know that name.
Oh my God. 91 World Series. Kent Herbeck picks the Braves player up off of first base after they were called safe. Herbeck picks his leg up off the base and the umpire calls him out.
You know, Earl was like 5 years away from being born, and I was only 2.
There. See, exactly.
2 years born. That was 91. I was born in 93.
But no, I hate Kent Herbeck. I hate the umpires from that series. But no, I think you apply it to any sport, to any of these sports that go with the best of 7. You normalize a Game 5. Game 5 becomes that dramatic. I think it does. So you don't need that Game 7. It's all about the money.
But we're not saying if you normalize anything, it becomes the norm. That's what normalizing means. But we're not in that norm.
David's question. If the NBA Finals was played in a best of 5 and it came down to Game 5, you wouldn't care. Here's the thing, David.
I don't think that was a question. I think he's saying that if it was Game 5, you wouldn't care. If it was Game 5 or Game 7, there would be no difference if the NBA Finals was the best of 5.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
So even at that comment, even if it's not a question, here's the thing. Cool, David. I did see that they're beating.
Graduated in 91. My God.
God, we thought Seth was old.
Yeah, Harry's got a couple years on me, not too many.
Seth was already graduating college at that time. So
Seth,
here's the thing about elimination games. Whether it was Game 5, it could be Game 7. If it's an elimination game, I'm excited anyways.
See, you just proved my point.
But
there are different levels of excitement.
There's an amped level of excitement, and then there's it's an elimination.
If you're not amped for every game, there's a problem. It shouldn't take a 7th game. If Game 5 is the deciding game, you should be just as amped for a Game 5 deciding game as you are Game 7.
Yeah, tell that to the ones making hundreds of millions of dollars.
Do you really think they care?
Either way,
exactly.
There's no way to prove who is right or wrong here. It's never going to change because of money, like you said. So I really just wanted to know between soccer and Game 7, not Game 7 and Game 5. I don't care about that. Just what playoffs are more interesting to you? And to me, basketball and hockey are still better.
I want to see 2-leg playoffs in USL and MLS. So, I want to see 2 legs.
You're essentially arguing for the same thing, by the way.
No.
Yes.
No.
Because the longer
other major league does,
the longer the series, the better chances the better team has at coming out on top. And that's what you want.
6.
That's what you want in that's what you want in the home and home, is for the best team to come out on top and not let one game be a fluke.
Yeah, like Blues in 6.
I just the home and home in soccer works so well. Like you see if watching the Champions League this year, like just the amount of like spectacular play that's happened in these home and home series is just phenomenal. And so I think even if you just do the final, just the USL Cup final, do the MLS Cup final as a home and home, I think you're in for a fantastic championship. That's where I'm at with it. You don't have to do the whole, if you don't do the whole thing, fine, whatever. But I think the home and home is just a fantastic way to do it. So
I'm with you on that 100%. So you don't have to twist my arm there.
Yeah. I certainly don't want to see them play 7 games.
I'm surprised David is like actually out and about right now. Or I mean, he might not be out and about, but being social after the last Thursday and then the past weekend's events. I thought he might be curled up in a ball when he wasn't working. But
hey, David, while you're at it, throw in Pro Rel too.
Nah, I like playoffs. I don't want that.
Yeah, I don't mind the playoff structure that USL and MLS have. I agree with what Harry says. Eastern Western Conference Championship Finals, do the home and home, and USL Championship. I think it's a great idea. And yeah, David, just one table, Pro Rel. There you go. And then get everyone on board with that. But we all know that USSF.
That's un-American, David.
Exactly. Oh man, you guys are great tonight. We love you guys. But yeah, we've got so much to get to. Jacob, that was a great question.
Obviously, both of us thought about it.
Yeah, I saw that tweet this weekend. I was like, we're going to talk about that. But we do have a lot to get to. We do have a ton of New Mexico United news and notes. First up, came out today. Nico Breton has been called up by the Reggae Boys to play in a friendly. Let me make sure I have the information correct. Against Catalonia on May 25th. According to the club, Nico will not miss any time with the club. So congratulations to Nico Brett on the call-up. Hope to see the Reggae Boys do well in their friendly there. Also of note this week, both Chris Wehan and Alex Tabakis are named to the bench for the team of the USL Championship Team of the Week. That is out there as well. Also over on USLChampionship.com, Alex Tabakis is up for Save of the Week, and Nico Brett is up for Goal of the Week. If you haven't voted, be sure to go vote early, vote often, and get both of those guys nominated. I honestly watched all of them those videos. Nico's there was one other goal that I thought might be okay, but we tend to do well in the voting over on USLChampionship.com for whatever reason. So vote for Nico, obviously, and then Alex, I felt had the best of 2 saves that I saw that I felt were worthy. So go out, vote for them. David Carl's got a comment here. For doing playoffs, do 1-legged on the playoff rounds and 2-legged on the final. Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. Also over on USLChampionship.com, Daniel Bruce has an article that he has written. Go check that out. I've given that a read through a couple times, and absolutely great read from Brucey. Be sure to go check that out. Talking about how his transition from England over to here.
I somehow missed this.
You missed that?
Yeah, I don't. Yes. When did it come out?
Today.
Oh, okay.
Came out today. I will go put that over in the chat for you.
Thank you.
Say it, Harry. Say it.
Yeah, Harry, you can't make a comment and then be a Jerry and then just back off.
Don't worry, Harry. You won't get banned from this. And then over the past couple of days, New Mexico United has been announcing the U23 roster. So joining the U23s so far, we have two midfielders, Josh Barros and Michael Madrid. Both of whom went through the academy. Josh Barros currently plays for University of Tulsa, and Michael Madrid plays for La Cueva. Goalkeepers Nate Slota, Evan Kowalski, and Anthony Munoz have all been signed. Anthony's currently with GCU. He is a La Cueva grad. Nate Slota went through the academy. He's currently at Rose College. Evan Kowalski obviously went through the academy, still playing, and is there with Volcano Vista. And then we have a defender, Stefan Romero. He's been signed as well. He went through the academy, playing for Albuquerque High. And then forwards, Josiah Henderson, Johnny Barros have both signed as well. Johnny Barros is, of course, with Park University. He came from Valley High School. Josiah was at Colorado Mesa University, and then I missed one. Larson Rogers, he's at Dixie State, also a Volcano Vista High School graduate. So
before you carry on with this, I need to touch on David's comment about him having no power here. David, don't feel bad because Jacob and I are just guests on the Seth Bidoff show.
Oh no, I have power.
Jacob has power.
See, watch.
Wait, he does.
See, power.
Okay, so maybe it's just me that doesn't have any power here,
and that's probably for the best, Earl.
Yeah, quite possibly. Mesa State out of Grand Junction, Colorado. Hey, there you go. Yeah, so number of signings, 9 players have already been signed to the U23s. I imagine there will be more academies, U23 signings coming in the upcoming days and week leading up to the kickoff for the U23 season. The U23s obviously will be playing around the state throughout the USL League 2 season. So be on the lookout for that. The first match is on the 26th down at Mesa del Sol. They'll be playing around the state throughout their schedule. So look for more signings. All these kids are local. Not all of them have gone through the academy, of course. 6 of the 9 that have been signed so far have gone through the academy or are currently playing for the academy. Hey, there you go, David Carl with more signings for the U23s tomorrow. So exciting note. So I'm assuming right around 10 tomorrow morning. Keep an eye out on your social media feeds for more. We'll obviously retweet those, share those across social media, and then we'll update their Reddit thread as well with all of the U23 signings. So excited for this. I sent David a text the other night about our media credentials getting us in, and David said that he would take care of us. So yeah, looking forward to that. Are you guys planning on making it to any of the U23 matches if you can?
As we have covered, I don't know what my schedule is coming up, but as long as I am available, I will be at the Roswell one on the 28th.
Nice. All right, that'll be good. Earl, you plan on making any of them?
No.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll be at Mesa del Sol for the opener. I'm also planning on hopefully being up.
Just kidding. If I can make some time to be there, I need to look at the schedule, obviously. If I can be there, I will. But obviously, with this new change in work, I don't even know what's going on in my life anymore.
Yeah, it happens. So yeah, Mesa del Sol, May 26th. I'll be out there for sure. I'm looking at the Santa Fe, Taos, maybe Roswell. I don't know about Farmington yet. That's a bit of a drive, so we'll have to see about that one. But definitely looking forward to getting out and watching the U23s in action, seeing some of the academy kids actually get out there on the pitch and see what they can do against the Mountain Division of the USL League 2. So stay tuned. Social media feeds tomorrow, I'm assuming around 10 a.m. for more U23 signings. Looking forward to it. I mean, we've already seen Evan's name pop up quite a bit over on the social media feeds during the academy matches. So looking forward to seeing what these kids can do. So all right, guys, moving right along. We did, of course, have a match on Saturday evening out in Charleston.
And for the first time since March 22nd, let that sink in. since March 22nd, we actually get to talk about 3 points.
Yeah. It's,
March 22nd.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been 3 months. No, 2 months. I apologize. 2 months, almost to the day since United last picked up a win. I was thinking March was the second month for whatever reason in that moment. But yeah, 2-0 victory over Charleston Battery. United jumped out to a very fast start. Got goals within the opening, within 5 minutes of the first half, and then the opening 15 seconds of the second half. So a lot of things to take away from this match. First and foremost, Earl, heading into this, you predicted, I think you said 3-1. Earl said 3-1. I said 3-0.
I said 2-0.
Jacob wasn't here. We have no idea what he said.
I said 2-0. It's not written down anywhere. It's not recorded anywhere.
All right, we'll go back. All right, so Jacob, what's your prediction for Charleston versus New Mexico United?
Man, I don't know. With the way we've been playing,
4-0.
I think I have some faith. I think I'm gonna go. I can't go 4. We haven't been playing that good. We've been playing about half as good as that, so I think we'll go 2-0.
2-0. All right, perfect. I'll go back and edit that. Put that in the last episode for you.
Beautiful. Wait, should I have changed my shirt? I think I should have changed my shirt. No,
you're okay. No, I'll put the audio in. I'm not gonna worry about the video.
Okay.
Yeah. It's one of the things. We're gonna time travel to get your prediction in there. But yeah, so Earl, going into that, you predicted 3-1. What did you see that United did well on Saturday to pick up 3 points out of Charleston?
They just showed they're hungry. I mean, here goes Jacob's laughter.
I thought for sure you were gonna say scored. That's what I thought you were gonna say.
Look, that was post or pre Jacob vacation, Earl.
So we have a different Earl. Okay.
So had you listened last week, you would have saw me strictly professional, no sound bites. I actually knew what I was talking about.
If it wasn't for Seth shaking his head, I would have called bullshit for sure. But I'll believe you.
You can even ask Jerry.
I could go back and
with
listen
Jerry.
To
You should.
Earl was very professional. It was actually one of the highlights of Earl's career.
Was he wearing one of his work suits?
No, it was not.
Actually, I wasn't. I don't even know what I was wearing.
Nothing, probably.
I mean, I was wearing something because I was on camera, so I was wearing something. Anyways. So really, what they did better was they attacked and they showed they were hungry. It was something we hadn't seen in forever, where they would actually just play back and play down to the opponent's level. And then it would just bite us in the ass. I mean, we would play in the back more times than not and just let the team come up on us, take the ball away, and do what they wanted with it. This one on Saturday, I mean, I can count maybe 3 or 4 times that we had majority in the back. A good majority of the game, a good portion of the game of the match was center field forward. I mean, we didn't really play back much. And then obviously the sarcastic answer was score. I mean, scoring 2 is nice.
Yeah, it is. United obviously have been on a goal scoring drought for quite a little while. And so, yeah, it's definitely good to see them get off of that and pick up 2 goals in the match. Jacob, going back and watching this, was there anything in particular that you picked out as something that United did well that you have been hoping to see out of them?
This is the way you phrase that question. I have to answer with finish. We saw a fantastic touch by Nico to pop that ball up, and then a fantastic volley right there to score that first goal. And then Weehan is alive and contributing and gets a goal that I to this day still don't know how it went in, but it went in. And it counts. And that's what we need. I don't care how they go in. You tweeted it twice over the weekend. It doesn't matter how pretty they are. As long as they get over the line, I don't care. Nico's was beautiful.
Yeah.
Wehan's, I don't care. It got over, and we got that second goal. I think that other than that, you can put that game up to probably 4 of our last 6, or however many that I'm thinking of. And that's literally the only difference I saw was finishing. And that goes on both sides. We had a couple matches where teams just found a way to finish in sloppy play and get that one goal that they needed to beat us or to draw us. And then we just couldn't do that in other games. So that was the difference, was the two teams finishing. And I think it was, I don't even know if it was one of our best performances, but what it was the exact blueprint that we can build off of. We controlled the midfield very well. We allowed a couple chances, but our keeper was able to make a save of the week type save, which you've already talked about. And that was basically all he had to do. Do you know how many saves he was credited with? Because I know
3.
It couldn't have been many, and if there were more than that one, they were pretty easy and not a sweat. And so I think that's replicable. I think we can almost count on Alex for a great, if not spectacular, save of a week, and then a couple of easy ones, and then the defense to do their job and not give up a lot of opportunities. And then you can look at our possession and control of the midfield and pushing the ball forward, and how we played that game against Charleston is how we've played several other games except for finishing. And I think that all of that is replicable and shows that we are a talent-wise, a top talent team. We've just needed to put it all together. And to go on the road on the East Coast and be able to put that type of performance gives me hope that we can build off of that. I wish it wasn't Phoenix that we're playing Saturday. Not that Phoenix necessarily scares me. I think that Phoenix just has this weird aura around them, no matter who's playing them, really, whether that's right or wrong. And I kind of wish it was just like, okay, if we were playing like, I don't know, RGV, just to throw a random name out there, I'd feel a lot better. But I still think we have the talent and capability of beating Phoenix and continuing to build off this Charleston win.
So, yeah, I double-checked while you were talking there. Alex did get credit with 3 saves on Saturday evening. And you brought up a ton of different points in there that I really had kind of written down to try to get to some of them tonight. One of them being, and it was, so listening to the broadcast, it was Devin Kerr and Mike Watts, who I absolutely love listening to on the broadcast. They do a fantastic job. Super knowledgeable.
I do. I would rather listen to Tyler, but
yeah,
but I do love listening to them.
Yeah, no, they're one of the best broadcast duos in the USL. And one of the things that they mentioned during the broadcast was that if you look at the standings, you look at the results as to where they are now, if you had seen how we had been playing, you've been watching how we've been playing over the stretch of the season, you wouldn't necessarily think that we were in the spot where we're at. And I think that's 100% accurate. We've been talking about that every single week. Mm-hmm. You know, how we're out possessing, we're out shooting, we're outplaying teams for large portions of matches and just getting unlucky at times. And so this, to me, while it wasn't necessarily a dominating performance, it was definitely one where you could see all of the pieces come together. You could see the pace from Nico. You could see the creativity of Nava and Rivas and Bees putting guys and Harry too. Oh my God, Harry had some tremendous crosses.
Harry's probably my player of the year so far. I mean, he's not first in goals, but he's up there in goals. He's got assists. He didn't get credited he didn't get anything on paper for that Nico goal, but it was all Harry that started that play. I mean, his speed to just blow by the Charleston midfielder. And it helped that Charleston's defense was, I don't know where they were necessarily, but they were not in the middle of the field. So
they left that back post wide open, and Brucey
terrible.
had acres of space.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, Harry hasn't gotten anywhere near enough credit for the play that he's put out so far this season, and for the vision there, and then Brucey to square that ball back up, and then Nico and being able to settle that ball and finish on the half volley like he did, like absolutely incredible run of play. And I have no idea what happened with Charleston's back line there, but Harry and Brucey have just been tremendous. And then there were a number of different things. I want to ask you guys real quick, and Harry, we'll get to your comment here in a little bit about Phoenix and their ability and them being able to be beaten. We'll get to that in a little bit. Did you guys listen to the presser from the last home match that we put the audio out for?
I did not.
You did not. Okay. So Earl, did you listen to it?
Seth, if I didn't listen to it, Earl didn't listen to it.
Guys, I try to get some like real good. We finally got like a real good answer out of Zach on something about.
Look, if you'd have let us know, I'd have listened to it. But I'm not expecting that, so I didn't listen to it.
Are you not subscribed? Are you not subscribed to the podcast feed?
No, I am. No. I saw it.
Okay. You man. So I in that last presser.
Hold on. So I could barely get match notes, game notes, let alone a decent subscription to a decent freaking podcast.
Decent.
Here I am. Oh man. Here I am trying to be all professional and trying to do this right. And I get a real good answer out of Zach. I closed out go back and listen to it if you haven't already. I asked a question about what needs to happen with the midfield and improving the chances and how United needs to clean up the play there. And one of the things that Zach said was we need to, with Brucey and Harry coming down the wings, we've got to get more interplay through the midfield. Maybe it's doing something more like crossing runs. And that's something that when I was watching this match on Saturday, I can see these crossing runs and guys doing different things. And so I wrote down a couple of different times here. One was in the 17th minute, Sergio Rivas picked up the ball down the left channel and he cuts across the midfield. He's cutting across the midfield and B's like kind of goes back towards the left. You can see him pulling him out. And so, I think that was the one. Let me make sure. No, that he's making more of a run into the middle of the box there. And so you see B's running forward and Sergio cutting across the box, and Sergio's got all this space. And he gets a good shot. I say good shot. He gets a shot on target. It wasn't the highest quality shot, but you can see what they're trying to do. You can see the runs. And then there was another one in there too during that first goal. You can see when Harry Swartz coming down the left, cuts in towards the middle, Sergio takes the out route, basically going out towards the corner, pulling the one or two Charleston defenders that way, making them back off of what Harry's doing before Harry crosses that ball. So you can see what Zach is trying to do. You can see tactically what United is doing and how it's creating space. And I think that made a huge difference in this match here. You could see those runs have a direct impact on the chances that were created and the opportunities that United had.
Yeah, that's a good shout there, Seth, because I did notice that too. And it kind of is what led to Weehan's goal to an extent.
A little bit there as well, because when Bees gets that ball, so Kalen sends the ball over the top, Charleston grabs it, Bees gets the interception, and as Bees is running forward, Sergio makes another run to that outside, and you can see him drag the defender, leaving Bees on that inside run. Yeah, same exact there too. Yeah, crossing run from Sergio opened up that space.
And so that is something that was a good question by you, the professional. I'm sorry for working 10 hours a day my last week with the city and then going on vacation on Friday and not having a chance to listen to it. Because I would have listened to it in the car, but we listened to Encanto for 16 hours.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's grown on me. But no, those are things that did make a big difference on Saturday. And I mean, Phoenix. One thing you can say about Phoenix is the back line is not the back line of yesteryear, and is very susceptible to giving up goals. So as referenced, or as what's the word I'm looking for?
Alluded
As
to.
evidenced by the 5 goals that Tampa Bay Rowdies put up against them over the weekend.
And 2 of those were own goals. So Phoenix has got some issues, and we'll get to that. Earl, there was a question over in the chat for you. What's the sandwich?
Yeah, I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you as a professional to stop talking, and me as the non-professional to keep on eating. So thank you for rambling on and allowing me to finish my McDouble with Big Mac sauce.
McDouble.
Okay. It's called vamping.
I could tell it was McDonald's. I just couldn't tell what it was.
Yeah, it was a McDouble with Big Mac sauce, no onions.
You could just say Thousand Island dressing, and
That's not the same.
Yes, it is.
It's the exact same. But okay.
But yeah, there were some really great moments in this match, and I wanted to pick out a couple different things. Kalen Ryden coming back, obviously having him back full 90, like tremendous performance from him on Saturday night. You could see him, tracking back, making some stops, making some recoveries, and then just getting the ball forward. Christian Nava, I cannot say enough about Christian Nava and the effort that he puts in, whether he's tracking back, whether he's going forward. There was one. Go ahead.
He has to put in that much effort because he's half the size of everybody else. So if he didn't play with effort, he would not have any contributing factors.
Yeah. I find it amazing that he ever gets a foul call against him.
Well, no, because he's a toothpick out there, and the ref looks at it and goes, if you were a regular human being size, you would not have fallen down. So I'm not going to call the foul.
Yeah, or just the fouls he commits to. Like, I'm looking at him like, how? He's half his size.
Those are funny. Those are funny. When the 6'5", 220-pound player goes to ground after getting nicked by Nava, and the ref's like, nope, you did it. Like Nava literally could or the defender could literally do like the big brother thing with Nava, where he just holds his head out here, and can't be touched. But Nava breathing on him is going to make him fall. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was a moment right before halftime, watching Nava. So Sergio Rivas starts the little, I think it's like the 43rd minute. I think it was. Sergio kind of pops the ball up over the top, and Christian Nava goes at the defender, and he just breaks his ankle. Like, you just see Nava faint to the right or faint to the left, and the defender goes and he just breaks his ankle, and the Nava looks back to the right. And we didn't get a goal off of that. It was a great shot. Ended up being a great shot by Bees. Fortunate for Charleston that the defender was there to save it off the line. But Christian Nava is a kid that continues to impress, and I have a hard time taking him out of my 18 every week. I have a hard time taking him out of the 11 just because of the sheer creativity that he brings to this lineup. I mean, do you see any way to take him out at this point?
Of the 11?
Yeah.
I think him and Bruce, while they play different positions, somewhat anyways, sometimes, Nava's pretty versatile. I don't know if I prefer him starting and Bruce coming off the bench and giving energy, or vice versa. But no, he's in the 18 for sure.
Yeah, to me, he's someone that I would have a hard time leaving
Bite
out.
his face, Milo. Bite his face.
Just watching Christian, it's just so much fun to watch him. And, he makes some of these runs, and then, there was one particular moment, I think it was in the second half, Harry got on the ball deep in our own half after a steal, and you see Nava. The ball's kind of in space when he sees it because Nava's tracking back, and then you see him turn and just tear up field, and Harry gets the ball to him, and Nava's got the pace to outrun a lot of guys. Now he doesn't have the size to stand up to some of the challenges he's going to face, but he's going to outrun some guys. He's going to draw some fouls, and we've seen it, to where he draws the attention of other guys, and just his creativity and just his ability to cut is going to make people just go stupid at times.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, he's been fantastic. We called for him getting more playing time in the offseason. Now, with the signings that we had, we weren't sure if that was going to happen or not. But no, I think him starting and getting a lot of minutes. No, I could not avoid the distraction at the bottom of the screen. It was very distracting, and I didn't know what was going on. I was worried Earl was going to kiss Milo at one point, and just thought I might need to remove him from the feed so that we did not get labeled by YouTube as bestiality. But
you sound jealous.
No, you're the one that was jealous. My dog jumped into my lap for 2 seconds, and you were like, "Oh, I got to show off Milo. I got to one up Jacob."
So whose dog is better, your dog or my dog?
Oh, your dog. But that's not the point. The point is you had to show it off. Anyways.
Yeah, I've got two more, well, really three more points I want to hit on this match before we move on to Phoenix. First, congratulations to Nico Brett. Moves into to a tie for 5th all-time regular season scoring with the goal that he picked up on Saturday night. He also moved into a tie 7th all-time with Daniel Bruce in all competitions for the club. So congratulations to Nico Brett. There's a couple more guys ahead of him that are no longer playing, so there's a very real chance that he could still be in contention for a golden boot this year. Also, we could see him climb up the ranks a little bit more, both within the club and the USL. So great to see that. Great to see United back scoring. There was a comment I wanted to ask you guys. Well, there's 2 comments I want to touch on. One, around the 11th to 12th minute, the broadcast made a comment saying the United has had a moving target in goal, basically because we haven't had one goalkeeper all season. Now, I kind of had a problem with this statement that was made because, Alex Tambakis was hurt. It's not a moving target. It's not the fact that we've had inconsistency in goal play. It's the fact that we've used 3 different keepers. And so I kind of took exception to this comment. What did you guys think about that? Did you think it was fair compared to some other clubs like Charleston who are having issues with goals being conceded and trying out different things? Or do you think this is a fair statement from the broadcast crew?
Oh, no. It's not a fair statement, but I heard it and scoffed, and then I forgot about it because for Devin Kerr and Mike Watts being 2 of the best color guys in U.S. soccer, they do so much soccer that there's just no way that they can keep up with every storyline from every team that they broadcast for. And so I just kind of took it as, they know that we use 3 keepers. Maybe they don't know why. Maybe they knew Alex was hurt, but still we're just kind of, I don't know. So I just kind of brushed it off and said, that's what happens when you guys get 35, 37, 39, 50 different teams that you guys are commenting on for throughout a season. Mm-hmm. So I just brushed it off.
Earl, what was your take on that? Did it ruffle your feathers any, or were you in the same boat as Jacob?
So I can honestly say I didn't even hear it, so it didn't ruffle my feathers at all.
Okay, well maybe it was just me then, but and like you said, they are among the best in U.S. soccer in terms of the commentating and the amount of work that they do, and so it just kind of bothered me to hear that. I'm like, well, it's not really like. It's not that we're having issues. Like, we're still one of the best teams in all of the USL in terms of, chances allowed, goals allowed, clean sheets. Let me make sure I've got this pulled up here.
Side note, while you're doing that.
Yeah.
The TNT app is freaking trash. I cannot stand it.
Okay.
I have the Avalanche game on. I look over, something happens. I'm like, oh, cool. They called a penalty on St. Louis. Awesome. I turn back. I talked to you guys for a little bit. I turn back. Same exact play. Oh, they called a penalty on St. Louis. And then I'm like, what just happened? It just jumped back 5 minutes for no freaking reason.
Wow.
Yeah. Out of nowhere. It was just like, hey, we're going to rewind 5 minutes and just confuse the hell out of everybody.
Yeah.
I got your answer for that.
For what?
It's called, for your TNT app that lags.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Bally Sports.
Fuck Bally.
Well, hold on. How does that help me?
Because it doesn't lag and it's watched live.
And where do I find this? I don't like the
Go to
the second
Google.
round. The second round hockey games are only on TNT. Period. There's no local broadcast, no other broadcast. It is just TNT.
Oh, you're so mistaken. Go to Bally Sports. Go to Google. Type in
Are you
Bally
watching
Sports.
it right now? Are you watching it right now?
I am watching it right now on Bally Sports.
All right. So while Jacob and Earl are figuring out Bally Sports, United is tied with San Antonio for the fewest goals conceded this season. We've played 9 matches. We've got 7 goals conceded. We've also got 3 clean sheets in 9 matches. And so, we've been defensively one of the best clubs in the USL this year. And so I think it's hard to compare what we've had happen with the injury to Alex Hembakis and what other clubs have gone through. And so I just kind of wanted to touch on that and get your reactions to that comment there. Because I just didn't feel like it was an accurate representation of where we've been at this season. And then the other one, and this is the big one, is B's back?
No. Is he performing better than he was? Yes. Is he back? I'm not quite ready to say that.
Not yet.
Okay. All right. So I kind of felt like we were on the same page with this. Like we've talked about Bees. We've talked about how much attention he's been getting, from media locally and nationally surrounding the USL. And we can all say that Bees has performed better as the season has gone on. And we've seen how with these crossing runs, with the different things that Zach Prince is trying to do, especially through the midfield, how it's improving Bees' play, how he's getting more involved. And we saw him pick up the goal. We've seen him making more and more runs, either across the field or up the field, pushing the pace of play. And so, like you guys, I feel like he's improved. I feel like his performances are getting better every week, but I don't think he's 100% to where people have expected him to be.
I don't think I would say that. I don't think I would say he's improved every week. I feel like the first 7 matches were pretty much the same, and I was disappointed in him in all of them. Mm-hmm. This one was by far, I think, his best match. And I'm not just saying that because he got a goal. I'm saying that because I think he just performed better overall. What has baffled me about Bees is that his first touches, especially, have been absolutely atrocious all season. Just so heavy and not having any control of the ball. And so seeing those first touches be under control and not a turnover guaranteed, basically, seeing the goal, if you're a goal scorer and you've been struggling, finding the back of the net is a very, very good way to break out of a slump. So I think he is definitely ascending in the right direction. But if your definition of back is what we saw from him last year, he's a long, long, long way from that.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think about it, and I know that you have had issues with how he's performed every every week. I look at it in terms of he's been getting more involved. He's creating more opportunities. He's been driving the ball forward more. So while it's been statistically an improvement, not necessarily, but you can see the transition into how Zach's system is now like working, or how he's trying to fit everyone into that system. And so you can see B's making strides there. And I definitely don't want to say that Saturday was his best performance. I don't want to say that there haven't been issues. Like, obviously the heavy touches have been there, and that's always something that's looked better in recent weeks. But I think that's kind of something that all the guys have dealt with at some point this week, or throughout the season, I should say.
I don't know, man. I can probably count on one hand the first touches that were up to his standard in the first 7 or 8 games.
Mm-hmm. David, if you're in the chat, I do have a question for you in regards to how the club selects the man of the match. I would be curious to know if that's, because I think Charleston has an app that fans can go on and vote. Is there a way that the fans are having input on this, or is it just solely a decision up in the box? I'm curious as to how we do it. So if you're in the chat, I would love to know an answer to that. Because I know that, in my article on my recap Saturday, I put that Alex Tambakis was my man of the match. I mean, you could have gone a number of different ways. I know the club had Bees as the man of the match on Saturday. Who is your man of the match, Earl?
I mean, you can look at quite a few, but I know what Jacob's looking at is a 2-2 game right now.
Yes, I am.
I would, and you guys can call me crazy, but I'm going to put Nava as probably my man of the match. I mean, he was all over the pitch, constantly winning one-on-one battles, constantly attacking the ball defensively, and shit, he almost scored.
Mm-hmm. He's so close to getting his first goal, and I really hope it happens at the lab and just everyone goes nuts over that. He's so close.
Yeah, he is. I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, but it's coming. It's coming for sure. If it's Saturday against Phoenix, the stadium will not be left standing after it's over. So, mine was Harry. Mine's probably going to be Harry until he doesn't play. He's just been so damn good and so damn impactful on both sides of the ball, playing that wing role where he's just asked to do so much on both sides. And for him to be able to do that match in and match out and contribute like he has with the goals, the assists, the hockey assists, the defense, everything. If it's not for Harry being on that side at that moment in the 5th minute, we might not score that first goal, and then who knows what happens after that. So, Harry for me. But it was such a good team performance that Nava's a good answer. Weehan's a good answer. Tim Box is a good answer. Ryden would have been a good answer.
Mm-hmm.
Nico would have been a good answer. I mean, you could go a bunch of different ways. And so that all good answers, but mine would be Harry.
So David's answer to my question from a few minutes ago: a few of us consult on it, plans to include fans in the future. All right, there you go. Yeah, I mean, you could have gone so many different ways with that. And so I don't take issue with any of these guys being named man of the match, to be honest with you. And because you look at it and you look at how guys perform, and Earl, you mentioned Christian Nava. I'm looking at Christian's stats: 1 shot on target, 2 chances created, 71.4% passing completion, 5 tackles, 2 clearances. I mean, Nava was freaking everywhere on Saturday night. And so, when you have that many guys who are performing that well and having that big of an impact on the match, you would expect to walk away with 3 points more often than not. And so looking ahead to Saturday, it's going to take a number of standout performances again. Obviously, Phoenix Rising coming into town for the first time this season. This is the third match against them this year. Rising, of course, coming off of a 5-1 defeat at the hands of Tampa Bay. And I went back and watched this game, and man, Tampa just took it to them. And I know Phoenix had 2 own goals in there, but still, I mean, Phoenix came out, they picked up a goal from Cejas. Cejas is a tremendous player, but Rowdy's obviously one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference over the past several years. Came back and threw 3 on them before half, and then 2 own goals from Phoenix in the second half. When I first saw this scoreline, because I didn't watch the match live, I saw that there was a red card. I thought, okay, well, red card. Tampa Bay is a pretty good club. Maybe they scored some of those goals, after the red card. Nope, every single one of them came before the red card, and so I looked at this. Yeah, David Carl Ryden, Seymour were great too. Yeah, absolutely. Jacob brought up Kayla Ryden. Seymour did fantastic. I mean, it's hard to leave anybody out of that. But looking at Phoenix, we've talked about Phoenix a couple times. This is not, and we kind of got a little bit of stick for it a little bit. When a few weeks ago, when I put out a tweet saying 1-0 hard fought victory against, or loss against one of the best clubs in the West, for saying that we tried to pump them up to make us feel better and blah blah. I said, well, we've always thought that Phoenix is one of the best in the West. Now that still doesn't take away from the fact that we don't know what's going on with Phoenix this year. Did either of you have a chance to watch the match against between Phoenix Rising and Tampa Bay over the weekend? And if you did, what were your thoughts on it?
I forgot all about it, and by the time I tuned in, it was already 3-0. So I didn't continue watching it, and I probably could have gone back and watched it, but I did not. Just Phoenix as a whole, because I have watched other matches of theirs, including the 2 that we've played them, and they do not look like the normal team, that the normal Phoenix that we would consider. But it comes down to that back line just being absolutely a disaster at times. Mm-hmm. They can put together 90 minutes like they did against us a couple times, even though I feel like the first time we played them when what's their keeper's name? Lund,
yeah.
Had the match of his life. Their defense was a sieve in that game too. We just couldn't finish. So
yeah.
So that back line is definitely something that they would need to address if they want to get up there and have a chance at USL Cup, like I know they would like to.
Earl, did you get a chance to
Can
watch
we
it?
talk real quick?
Yeah.
Can we talk about the weekend that Phoenix sports fans had?
Sure.
And how fantastic it was on Twitter? I actually really like Devin Booker, and I like Chris Paul that play for the Phoenix Suns, and so I didn't really care if they won or lost game 7, but to lose it the way they did, and then for Phoenix to get their ass kicked the way they did, to see Vagina Plaster crying on Twitter, and actually. He had some tweets that I was like, haha, sucker. But he owned up to all of it, which I thought was very cool of him. But yeah, the Phoenix sports fans had a rough 24 hours Saturday and Sunday night. And I, for one, loved it.
Yeah, that they did. I saw quite a bit of the fallout over on Twitter. I didn't engage. I said, you know what? I'm going to let them have their moment of downfall here. And I saw that there was quite a bit of negativity towards Rick Shantz after his post-match comments.
Oh, he was a dick, dude. It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah, I know that we struggle sometimes getting answers out of Troy and Zach, but man, those guys would have never responded the way that Rick Shantz did over the weekend. And so I know some folks were taking a lot of exception to that. And so, Earl, did you watch that match? Did you see anything? I'm guessing.
Nope.
Okay. Earl, we are running a professional show here. We're trying to, we're trying to do things right. So you got to research.
I was doing research actually. Maybe the
On the Arizona Diamondbacks?
Exactly. Because I was carrying on with Jacob's comment about Phoenix teams having probably the worst weekend of their life. On Sunday, the Arizona Diamondbacks lost to the Chicago Cubs 3-2.
Now that's why it's the
Mm.
Cubs. That's why we're doing this.
They also lost to the Padres 7-3 on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
On Saturday, they lost to the Cubs again 4-2.
Hold on. Hold on.
Yeah,
Hold on. There's no way they played this two teams on the same day.
Yeah. Doubleheader.
Interesting. I will believe you because I don't think you're that dumb, but I'm very curious about it.
All right. So Earl didn't watch it, but yeah, watching Phoenix this year to me, and again, Phoenix is extremely talented. I'm not going to take that away from them. I can't say that at all. I mean, they've been one of the best clubs in the West since inception. And I mean, they're still sitting fourth. They're only 6 points back in Colorado Springs. Colorado does, of course, still have a match in hand, but Phoenix isn't the Phoenix that we've known. And like you said, and we've talked about, it starts at the back. From what I've watched of them this season, they've struggled with pace. They've struggled with their spacing on the back, and they're just giving up a lot more opportunities than what we've seen from them. And as high powered as their attack is, they don't have an answer. I mean, obviously, you're not going to come back and score 6 goals, 5 goals every single week to beat somebody, but I just can't figure out what their issue is. And we saw how United took advantage of that in the first 2 matchups between the 2 sides this year. And like you said, if it wasn't for Lund just standing on his head in one of them, United could have walked away with a 3-0 win. And so I look at this matchup on Saturday back at the Lab. I imagine we're going to see 12,000 plus again on Saturday. I think it's going to be a fantastic atmosphere. I think it's going to be really tough for Phoenix to come in and pick up a point, let alone 3 points here on Saturday. And I can't figure out what it is about Phoenix. It's just not clicking. And so I don't want to take anything away from them because talent-wise, they have the ability to beat anybody in the league. But whatever Rick Schantz is doing, whatever that back line is doing, just isn't working for them. And so, yeah, I feel like it's something, again, that United's going to be able to take advantage of. Throw Nico, throw Preston out there, get the pace up top, I think maybe, Preston and Nico up top, put Sergio right behind him as a cam, and then, just have opportunities to run at Phoenix and pull the defenders out, spread them out, get the guys in some space, and you're going to see what you saw against Charleston.
Yeah, I think that honestly the same lineup that we had against Charleston, except for I would switch Rivas and Preston. I'd bring Rivas in off the bench to start their pace up top with Preston and Nico, and then having Nava in there to run Nava and Weehan kind of running in those little diagonal runs that we talked about and stuff like that. I think that could eat that back line alive. I still have a healthier respect for Phoenix as far as Saturday is concerned. And part of that's Phoenix, part of that is we saw it for one game from us, but I want to see it again a couple more times before I am fully saying that Charleston game is who we actually are.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we can jump on them early, the game that comes to mind is 2019 at home. We jumped up on them 2-0. If that happens again, we don't let them back in. I think our defense is much better than 2019, obviously. And as you mentioned earlier, I think our defense is one of the best defenses in the league, even with all the injuries that we've dealt with. And so you bring Ryden back in there and and it's going to be a different kind of game as far as on our defensive side of the pitch. And so if we can jump on them early, like Harry said earlier in the chat, we will beat them. I do believe it's just a matter of if we can get that goal. We can finish that chance or the chances that we have and go from there.
Earl, what's your take on this weekend? After seeing the 2 previous matches against Phoenix Rising, what do you think is our greatest strength against them?
I would have to say our greatest strength would probably be attacking, just because of how roller coastery the Phoenix backline is. But the match can go either which way. I mean, option A is we take it to them like we know we can, and we continue form from Charleston and continue run of play. Or option B is Phoenix is pissed, and they come and they hand it to us.
Yeah, Phoenix. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. Like they're among the worst in the league right now in goals conceded. And yes, they've had one of the best goal differentials over the past several years. I believe it was mentioned on the broadcast on Saturday that heading into the weekend, Phoenix Rising had a goal differential of like plus 62 over the past, I think, year or so. I don't remember the exact stat, but it was the exact time frame. But it was a goal differential of plus 62. Like right now they've only got a goal differential of plus 2. So, I mean, I don't know. I just don't think they have it. I mean, I think for us the key is going to be defensively. Can we hold them to 1 goal or fewer? Now, if they go out and they score 2 or 3 goals, I don't think we pick up the points. But if our defense stands up like it did in the first 2 outings, then we're in a very good position to pick up 3 points on Saturday.
This match goes one of 2 ways for me. It is either a 1-1, 1-0 loss, or 0-0. 1-0 loss, 0-0 draw, or 1-1 draw. Because it's going to be a tight defensive struggle on their side of attacking, and then we're just not going to be able to finish. It's either going to be a carbon copy of the Ben Lunt game, or we're going to kick their ass. I don't see Phoenix taking it to us on the goals department. I just think our defense is too good, and their offense has been better than their defense. It still has not been the Phoenix offense featuring Solomon Asante and Rufat Dadashov and Santi Moar and yada, 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 yada. Mm-hmm. It just hasn't been that offense this year. So they might get 2 on us if they get a stupid penalty or something like that. But if we score 2, we're winning. I feel fairly confident in saying that.
All right. So who is your player to watch from Phoenix this weekend?
I would say Santi.
Santi? Okay. What stands out about Santi and his play this year that he's the guy that you want to key in on?
Not necessarily his play, because he hasn't really been like highlighty as he was in years past. Just the fact that it's his return to Albuquerque, and his chance to play against the fans that made him who he is today. I mean, you think about it, Santi Moore was no one before he came to New Mexico. And then
he was a rookie of the year before he came to New Mexico.
He had a very good career over in the Eastern Conference.
Well, no, he had a very good year.
Well, yeah.
And then his next year was not nearly as good. So we definitely built him back up to his rookie of the year standard. But yeah, he to me, he has New Mexico to thank for his move to Phoenix and the subsequent success he has had since that first year in New Mexico.
My point exactly. So I think his return to Albuquerque and just how the fans take him in. I mean, if he gets booed off of the pitch, he's gonna have a point to prove, and that's not good for us. If he's embraced by fans, as I expect them to possibly do,
I don't know.
maybe.
I'm very curious to see what happens when he shows up there.
So like I was saying though, if he's embraced, I think he lets the embracing get to him, and then he just has somewhat of an off night. So he is my player to watch, just because it can go two routes for him. I mean, he can get booed and shut the fans up, or he can get love and shut himself up.
Jacob, who's yours?
Don't say Quinn.
No, I won't. I want to say Santi, because Santi was who I was going to say before Earl said it. So I will say that I agree with almost everything Earl said. I don't know how much the fans are actually going to affect how he plays, but to see if his emotions get to him while he's playing here, and for him to have the first chance to play in New Mexico since joining Phoenix, with COVID and everything that happened, it'll be the first time that we actually get to see him play here, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm very curious to see how the fans welcome him. If he gets a Yuma treatment and gets booed every time he touches the ball, or if they announce starting lineups and he gets a cheer. Damn it, Carl. David just stole one who I was going to move to after Earl. But with Santi, though, one thing that Earl did not mention that I would like to mention is that he has scored a lot of goals here, but we have played him tough in Phoenix the one time that he has scored. He did score.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give him that. But I think we play him pretty tough, and I think I don't think there's Yearwood and Tete, who played with him in 2019, and I hope one of them starts, because I think both of them are capable of shutting him down single-handedly, basically, on that side. And so I'm curious to see if we're able to slow him down, and then how he takes the crowd. And so, since Earl already mentioned that, and David mentioned Lund, who I was going to mention, because the last game we had, he stood on his head. He's had a very good outing every time we've played him. And so if he's, prime Tim Howard, David Lund, or not David Lund, what's his first name? Ben Lund. Then it's going to be a problem. If he's just Cincinnati cast off Ben Lund, then I think we'll be okay. So since both of those were taken, I'll throw Harry a bone and say Marcus Epps, because he has been one of their better attacking presences. I, for one, have never been impressed with him. I think Harry mentioned that he wasn't really impressed with him a lot of the times with San Antonio. So, but he has that kind of lightning in a bottle type of energy that can change a game really quickly. So I'll mention him.
I went back and forth on mine. I think between Luis Cejas and Greg Hurst. Now, I'm not afraid of Greg Hurst. I don't think he's necessarily the best player on their roster. He just happens to be in the right place at the right time.
And he finishes.
And he finishes. Yeah, he's a guy that I think if you can keep him from those optimal positions, then he's not going to be as big of a threat. And so, he's just a guy that I think needs to be removed from the equation, so to speak. Not allowing him to get into space or, be unmarked, there, right by the goal. I think that goes a long way, to slowing him down and to taking him out of the equation, as far as an attacking piece. And so, I mean, like I said, he's a guy he's constantly in the right position. And so if we can, work on that, and Kalen back, we got Alex Tambakis back. We're gonna have. I think we're better now at the back than we were 4 weeks ago, whenever it was we played them the 2 times. And so I think that's the key right there. Eliminate him, and I think it's a much better night for United. So
Cejas is an interesting name there. We've seen him with several distance bangers from either right at the top of the 18 or outside of the 18. That is something that I think we can be susceptible to at times. So I think if you see him with the ball at the top of the box, we need people crashing in on him, which could open up space for guys like Hurst. It's just a matter of if we close out properly and don't give up a passing lane there or a shooting lane. So he's a guy that if he's in the lineup, I'd keep an eye out on him for sure. That's a good pull.
Yeah.
So, all right, before you go to predictions, David, if you're still with us, can you?
David doesn't do predictions.
No, I'm not asking for a prediction. I'm not asking for a prediction.
Pain.
I'm asking if David can tell me if those injury report people from May 5th or May 11th, like Aiden Quinn, Musa, Lambert, Chastening, or all those fun people, are they still on injured? Do you know, or
we'll probably find out on?
We probably won't know till Friday.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to base my prediction off of that.
Okay.
No, you don't get that. Okay.
All right, we'll give David a minute to see if he responds to that. I don't think David will get that until later in the week, just because you don't want to give that information out too far ahead of time. Give teams more opportunities to prepare. So I'll go ahead. I'll start with mine. Looking at the way United's play, I feel like we've played solidly through every match this season. We haven't quite been there finishing. I feel like we're looking better. We're doing better. I feel like Phoenix is very beatable this year. Like Harry said, if you get an early goal, you kind of get the advantage on them. And so I think that's what I figured right there. Phoenix would never give us injury info early. I think 2-1 United on Saturday. So Earl's going to contemplate this for a second. Jacob, do you have a final prediction?
I'll say 2-0.
2-0. Okay.
I think our defense. I think our defense is much better with Ryden in there, and after the performance that we saw against Charleston, I'll go with that.
And I'm gonna go for a shootout, and it's gonna be, you heard it here first, USL fan heads.
Fan heads, huh?
I said fan heads, not fat heads. It's going to be a match of the year contender, and I'm calling it 3-2 United.
3-2 United. Okay.
With the final goal coming in like late 90th minute.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. There are our predictions for this week. We're all positive. We're all feeling good going into this week. So hopefully United can pick up 3 points back at the lab on New Mexico night. Like I said earlier, I imagine this is going to be over 12,000 in attendance as well. Would love to see some folks back out at the lab, obviously supporting the club. So if you don't have your tickets already, get out there. I imagine they're going pretty quick. We've been hearing some early numbers before the matches. So great opportunity to get out there, spend the night watching some football, and hope to see you guys out there.
And you can get a tattoo.
Yes, you can get a tattoo.
Well, you can't now unless you already signed up for one.
Very true.
There we go. See,
I didn't do that, I swear.
I don't have the power to do that, so he eliminated himself.
Well, there he is.
So apparently the side button on my mouse knocks me out of the... I had no idea. David Carl with a prediction.
Paid.
That's what I figured. So, all right, folks, there you have it. Jacob, get us out of here for tonight.
David, Harry, thank you for for coming in the chat, and we appreciate you guys always popping in there and being consistent there. It's late for Harry right now since he lives on Central Time, so I think he bowed out a little early like he usually does, but I appreciate him nonetheless. And finally getting to talk about 3 points felt great. Getting to talk about 3 points against Phoenix at home would be doubly great. So hopefully you can catch us next Tuesday at 9:00 as we get to do that exact thing that I just mentioned. And until then, somos unidos.
Go Blues.